Though infinity beckons, I must leave behind my very heart.
Never has there been, never will there be, another such as you. If leave you must, then let us depart together.
Say no more. It cannot be. It can never be. Where soars the silver surfer, there must he soar alone. I've seen galaxies crumble and new suns a-borning. But in every star, in every sun, I see her face.
Comic books.
I have nothing left except Spider-Man.
So we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
You want to see what Spider-Man #1 looks like?
I believe comics are our last link to an ancient way of passing on history.
The Thing. Is this dork made of orange rock like the rest of his body?
Here's the thing.
I'm looking for a Batman #14.
That's a very serious book.
I believe comics are a form of history that someone, somewhere felt or experienced.
How do I know that it's not a cheap reprint?
Better not be jacking off to the Japanese comics, I swear to God.
It's a superhero secret.
It's impossible. Lois could never have Superman's baby.
You can't pick a Superman #77 with the 200s.
I guarantee he blows a load like a shotgun right through the back.
They haven't even discovered where kryptonite yet.
He's an alien, for Christ's sake. His Kryptonian biological makeup is enhanced by Earth's yellow sun. If Lois gets a tan, the kid could kick right through her stomach.
Then, of course, those experiences and that history got chewed up in the commercial machine, got jazzed up, made titillating cartoon for the sale rack.
You know they're all bullshit, right?
Trust me, true believer.
Any of you incel, QAnon, 4chan, Snyder Cut motherfuckers want to get on a line now? Anybody?
Anybody? Is there anybody who wants to get out of line now? We had one guy getting out of line about 3 hours ago in chat. He showed up to just say mostly incomprehensible shit, trying to insult me, I think. The most I can make out of his comment was he said something about deserving a permaban. And, you know, if I permaban somebody, then, I mean, there's a chance I've made a mistake here and there for sure, but generally no. For one thing, you don't decide what's worthy of a permaban on my channel. You know what I mean? It's like boundaries, man. You don't decide an individual's boundaries. You decide your own. But if somebody feels like you cross their boundaries, that's their thing. They can do that. All right, how's everybody doing? We got Greg. Greg B so far behind that he's only read through Dawn of X. But Greg B not caring about spoilers. We got Artie. He's on time. There was something you wanted to talk about? No, I don't generally watch his content, really, to be honest. I find it kind of annoying. But I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with it, really. But like, I don't know, it's not my speed of content. I don't feel like it. I feel like its priority is for clicks and like, to get something, not to say it's clickbait, but just like their priority isn't discussing the media as much as it is having this really fucking hot take that they generally do a pretty good job of like building out of, why they can supporting this hot take or whatever, but like still, it just doesn't do much for me as a fan. I feel like, do you think it's something worth watching? Do you think that, let me ask you this. Do you think that Marvel doesn't know what they need to do next? Do you think that like Marvel is generally just kind of like flailing like, oh, we don't know. I don't think they are. But there is a really funny video that I just saw that you know, kind of pokes fun at that. Let me find that shit. Here we go. Feeling good, feeling great. Feeling good in the neighborhood. Ooh. I don't know what that means. Is that a song? I don't know. It's, I think that's like your eyes are big. Is that what that is? I'm not hippity with the lingo, you know. All right, so here's a video. It's only 30 seconds long because all this guy's videos are 30 seconds long. He's man carrying thing.
Sir, the shields are collapsing and the critic scores are plummeting.
This can't be right. This can't be what we're doing post-endgame.
Sir, I believe it's time we push the button.
You will not push that button until it's absolutely necessary.
If not now, when?
We've got time.
Oh, no. Damn, I can't take this. I can't take this any longer.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Sir, just let me push the button.
God have mercy on us.
There you go. It's funny. I mean, like, you know, if you've missed our content last week, generally, I don't think that they are desperate. I think they've made some mistakes in how they changed the way that they operate. And I think they did that at the worst possible time, to be honest. That's what I came to was, you know, it's one thing to change up your process, try something different. But they decided to do that right as they were having to figure out how to maintain viewers with lesser known characters. You know what I mean? Without, you know, they had a Thor movie, but then without Captain America, or at least the Steve Rogers one, without, you know, there's a whole lot of change going on in the lore. And they decided to also change a lot in the process of the filmmaking. And I think that was maybe a mistake. I fucking completely fucking disagree, man. He's that's just like the exact opposite, dude. He's been fucking killing it. I don't even know what you're talking about. That's weird. The Krakoan era has never sunk. I think that they're getting out at the right time. I think that if they continued, you know, doing Krakoan shit, then it might have gotten old. It is, but only as a cable company. Everybody hates it. You know? Man, I was just commenting on that. Somebody else just said something about that. Yo. Yes. I think that's what she's going by again in the comics and in the film. I haven't seen the film yet, but I think that's what she goes by. But no, man, I was actually going to talk about wait, what? The subplot of Jean and Scott led X-Men going against the QC. What's the QC? Yeah, I mean, it's not so you're equating one subplot that, and I'm not even sure about this because I don't know what you're talking about yet, but you're saying that one subplot. Oh, the Quiet Council. Got you. Where was that subplot set up? In X-Men? I mean, they did go against them a bit. You know what I mean? Like they did go against them. Like, what were you expecting? I'll be honest. Yeah, there's a lot of X-Men books. There's too many. I think that Marvel has one of their problems as a comics company is that they try to take an approach of like a bunch of comics to kind of like cast a wide net rather than, which is, it's a choice. It's a publishing choice, but still maybe not the best one. I don't know. Okay, so generally the way that I keep up with it is not in real time, like not as the comics are coming out. That's not true. Some of them I do, but for the most part, I trade wait. It's the easiest way. I got a Comixology or whatever it's going to be now. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but like with Comixology, you get a pretty decent little discount on trades and stuff whenever they drop, digital trades. And so I can, it's much more affordable to do it that way. But basically since the Fall of X began, I've been keeping up with several books monthly just because it's fucking good. I don't think that one drop subplot is necessarily equivalent to sinking the entirety of the era. I try not to, I haven't seen your name here before, Jack Charlotte. So just, so if you're new here, I don't tend to just like focus in, zero in on the stuff that I don't like. I think that's like kind of just the way that a lot of fandom goes. And I think it's maybe not the greatest way. I will criticize stuff for sure. But, I like to praise stuff. So if you wanted to see internal intrigue, you should have been reading X-Force. It's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, if you wanted intrigue, you should have been reading X-Force because Beast got into some shenanigans. I'll say that. Beast was doing some he took being the CIA director a little too far. Actually, way too far. Oh yeah, fucking Children of the Vault was great, dude. Oh god, I was just thinking I would love a movie of this. Bishop and Cable, big fucking guns. Just, you know what I mean? Like, oh god, it was so fucking fun. But generally, a lot of stuff in Fall of X has been great. Uncanny Avengers just did a reveal that look, I saw it coming. I knew it was going to happen, but to see it confirmed was like, fuck yes. I've been waiting on this dude, and it's kind of messed up for me to say this, but I've been waiting on this fascist to show back up. So I'll probably be spoiling stuff here just to discuss a few things that I'm excited about and whatnot. But first, I want to play like a couple of minutes clip here while so here's the deal. My microphone's holder, not the stand, but the holder broke. So like my microphone is hanging somewhat precariously right now. If you hear any bumping, that's because it's with a shock mount that's broken. The shock mount is what keeps it suspended, so that if you bump your desk or whatever, then it doesn't really pick it up on the mic as much. But right now it's broken, so if I bump my desk, you might hear it. And yeah, I'll probably have a new one of those tomorrow. But nonetheless, it's kind of hanging in a way that I'm worried about it right now. So I'm gonna play this clip while I fix that, and I shall be right back. This is a clip from the upcoming third and final, maybe, part of the Critical Drinker series that we've been doing. And this is just I'm really excited about this because this is Pop Counterculture just contributed a bit to it, and it's fucking excellent. And it's only 1 minute and 50 seconds long. But yeah, be right back.
It's funny to me that Critical Drinker is somebody who advocates so strongly for stoicism when part of being stoic is being a straight talker. But if you look at what Critical Drinker does, he is really good at saying nothing. Of course, he rides the line of plausible deniability, just like all these other assholes. But there's two things that he does that are so blatantly dishonest that nobody should take them seriously if they're aware of this. First and foremost, as I'm sure the other guys have pointed out, it's very rare that the footage you see on screen has anything to do with what he's actually saying, and that's very intentional. By having his videos just be a consistent stream of quick 7-second long clips of various different parts of various different movies with various different themes and different plots and different characters and all that, is that he is essentially creating visually suggestive language. It's giving you an idea of something, but not telling you specifically what it is. And in doing so, it's up to you to fill in the blanks as to exactly what those specifics are. 2, the famous image of the message. First of all, when he shows it on screen, he shows it very briefly. It's impossible to take in the entirety of the image any one time he shows it on screen. But if you go download the image and take a look at it, what exactly is the message? What is the unifying theme here? There's a reason why he is not spelling it out for you in the image. This is a Rorschach test. When he shows you this and says this is the message, you decide what that message is. If you actually take Critical Drinker seriously as a movie critic, all you're really saying is that you are exactly as easy to manipulate as he thinks you are.
Cool. That's actually excellent. But I was saying cool like that because I dropped something right before the video clip ended, and it's something I need. So anyway, yeah, Ed's fucking killing it. Okay, so as far as like who everybody is, yeah, there's a lot of mutants that like, they're not exactly. I mean, it's weird that Comicstorian would say that. Honestly, like I assume he reads a lot of comics, right? Because I don't read all of the comics, but I read enough consistently to know generally who everybody is when I see them. There's a lot of background characters because Krakoan era has been defined by all the mutants in one spot. Now he might have been talking about. Here's who he probably was talking about. You can tell me if I'm right. The Arakko mutants, the mutants on Mars, because there's like a million of them, literally. And they've been, generally if it was X-Men Red that he was reading, then yeah, I can understand not knowing who the hell anybody is, because there's a lot of just like, who the fuck is that? Who is that? And it's like, that's kind of exciting for me. Like, I don't feel like you need to know who everybody is, and I don't think the comic is expecting you to. I think that's part of the fun of especially X-Men Red, is you've got Storm, who's, the queen of Arakko, literally the queen of the solar system, actually. Just queen of my heart as well. And she's fucking badass. There was Magneto. He, spoiler alert, he bit it recently. And yes, they do have resurrection, or did have resurrection on Krakoa. But he had requested that if he died, that he not be resurrected. So, although there's going to be a mini-series coming up about that, where Storm has to wrestle with his wishes to not be resurrected, because she, I guess, for whatever reason, decides that, hey, we need him back. We kind of maybe should bring him back, even though he didn't want to. Nonetheless, there's a shitload of mutants, and they're all very much not friendly for the most part, or they have their own culture. Let me say that. Arakko mutants have their own culture because they've spent thousands of years, or hundreds of years, or I forget, with thousands, I think. Kind of like in another dimension, after Apocalypse cleaved the original island was called Okara, and Apocalypse cut it in half with the Twilight Sword in order to save it, basically, because it was a doorway from Amenth when all these demons and shit were attacking, and so yeah. And they ended up spending thousands of years, his wife, Apocalypse's wife, and 4 children and whatnot, spent a whole lot of time along with all these fucking mutants just fighting off these demon hordes, essentially. So they are battle hardened to the extreme, and they have developed their own culture. They're friggin', if you don't like get with their culture, they're kind of like they see all the other mutants, like the Earth mutants, Krakoa mutants, is kind of little bitches. Um, although then there's Storm has come along and earned their respect, as well as Magneto and some others, by proving no, we're not little bitches actually. So that's been pretty cool. But yeah, there's a whole lot of them there, and I can understand reading that and feeling lost with who some people are. But it also doesn't matter because they're generally not the main characters. They might be kind of like some of I'm sorry, fucking word is escaping me right now. Right, yeah, me too, man. Me too. Yeah, dude, Colossus. Like, there's been some tragic stuff, man. Like with Colossus and Beast. A lot of people don't like this stuff when they do this. Like readers, they're like, oh, they're fucking ruining Beast and they're ruining Colossus, and it's like, I don't think that's the case. I think that Beast is an obsessive genius, and he was given a position of power, and he was given, free reign to do basically whatever he felt needed to be done to protect this island nation home for mutants, the only home they've ever had that they had sovereignty and they had any kind of power. And he took it too far. He did, and Wolverine still got to deal with him because he got away the last time they met up. But Colossus, another one, is like, he's not ruined. His character's not like Colossus fucking saved all mutant kind from the legacy virus. I feel like having him be a mind-controlled secret agent or whatever is not going to ruin that. You know what I mean? It just makes him a more complex character, and it's going to give him a lot more pathos and stuff like that. The thing that was hard to read about Colossus was that he killed his woman. And of course that was done under mind control as well, but he still did it with his hands and like buried her. And it's just like, oh God, that's fucking, it's hard to read because like Colossus is, he's a big hearted, good dude, and he's got to live with that. And that sucks. Right. Yeah. I mean, exactly. And Beast is exactly that. And some of the stuff that he did was fucking nuts, but also like you kind of see where he would come to that if you remove the morality of it, which he certainly did. And you think, I've got all these tools at my disposal. How can I use these to protect Krakoa forever? Essentially, he did things like he went into the past and buried clone bodies of himself, like essentially blank clones. Not blank. I think they actually had memories loaded up, maybe, or something. But like, frozen, waiting to be unfrozen anytime his primary form got destroyed or something like that. So he had, he knew there was a good chance that Krakoan resurrection could get taken away somehow. He knew that. He was right. Katie Pride is not dead, and her name is Kate now. Thank you. You'll do well to call her by her name, Kate. She's not dead. She is doing a lot of deading other people, though. That's another thing that I've seen people upset about. Why she, she's become Shadow Cat again. She's taking that name. She's dressing like a ninja, like the ninja that trained her. Or I'm sorry, not ninja, but is that what he was? I forget. Trained her and Wolverine, Ogun. She's kind of dressing like him. She's murking lots of fascists, slinking around and doing some killing and shit. Because look, all bets are off, motherfucker. They came and they fucking destroyed their island nation. They weren't harming anybody. They framed, well, generally they weren't harming anybody. Beast might have been harming some people. Orcus framed the mutants. They created basically the mutants had created all this medicine that they were using to leverage, economic power, which allowed their nation to have power, right? Because you got to have some economic power to anybody to give a shit about you in the world. And they definitely did, because they created this medicine that healed a whole bunch of diseases and cancer, and like healed mental illnesses and all this stuff. Well, then one of the Sinister clones, Dr. Stasis, had basically poisoned a large amount of, or all of, their medicine, to where basically he just presses a button and it kills the people that are taking it. So a bunch of humans, regular people across the world, are taking this medication. And whenever Orcus showed up on Krakoa and we're like, hey, you either give up Professor X and you tell all of your mutants to leave the planet Earth, or we're going to do this. And so Professor X had to do it. He had to tell mutants to leave. And most of them did. Not the X-Men, though, because they had been trained by Professor X to resist psychic commands. I'm not sure where Lockheed is. Or last time I've seen him. Exactly. Yes. Anybody that's like, oh no, the Beast wouldn't do that. It's like, have you not heard of Dark Beast? But we have another friend of Krakoa here. Hey.
Hello. This show has been infiltrated by FAP.
Agent of FAP. I was going to do this drop, and then I remember maybe I shouldn't, but because it's kind of a gendered drop, but like.
Hey, man. Hey, that's fine. We take Korg here.
It's pretty,
I like it.
Friendly.
So nice.
You reject that her name is Kate? Come on. You can't reject. That's her chosen name.
That's her chosen name. She gets Kate. She's Shadowcat with a K now. You just got to roll with it, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, she recognized that. Like, I talked about it on the stream. Like, I absolutely loved that the aspect of, and I was always wondering since the beginning, where is this going? This her not being able to use the gate thing, right?
Yeah.
And then there at the end of it, seemingly the end of it, it's like, oh, now she can. She's literally only one. That's funny,
right?
And
they flippy floppied it.
And as soon as she realized it, she's like, I have to kill these people.
I have to murder them all. And she has gone like full murder hobo.
Yeah, and I we're going to look at here in a second the preview from the Fall of the House X and stuff, and it looks like she's still dressing in that ninja gear, and I assume going by Shadowcat. So this is not, at least as of now, just a super temporary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dark Beast is from Age of Apocalypse, though he is one of the 3 or so characters that managed to come back to the regular reality after that ended.
Right.
That reminds me, I think one character
Gray.
Huh?
It was Nate Gray, him, and Blink.
Blink. No, Blink ended up being an exile.
That's right. Okay.
It was Dark Beast, Nate Gray, and Sugar Man.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I was just thinking when I thought of that. Is that, like, I haven't seen Sugar Man on Krakoa. Did they not bring Sugar Man back?
I don't think they did. I actually don't know that they brought Nate Gray back.
Oh no, they didn't. Because because the story right before House of X, Powers of 10 was a Nate Gray villain story.
Right.
And it was a big time villain story. Like you
probably took out.
1 second, folks.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were live now.
Could you give me my slippers?
No.
Aw.
I'll get yours.
Yay! Sorry, we're being cute. We can't help it.
That's cool. Cool.
Blink is a mutant who can open portals. In 616, she dies immediately and horribly. And in Exile, she's rad as hell.
Yeah, so if you've seen X-Men Days of Future Past,
Windows open.
I'm gonna mute you there.
Oh, we're good. We're good now.
in X-Men Days of Future Past, she's there at the very beginning. Actually, she might be throughout it. I don't know. But no, I think she dies pretty quickly.
She dies pretty quickly.
She's the one that's going around, like, she's like Nightcrawler in a way, but she is able to throw these like dagger things that create her portals for her. So she can actually like kind of like projectile portal teleport. It's pretty cool. And Sugarman is generally just kind of a gross little fucking monster of a person that he's like he's gross. He's dead now. He actually died at the beginning of also that same story with where Nate Gray ended up being the villain.
Right.
And because Bishop found him. And Bishop was actually kind of bummed out or whatever, because he was clearly very much murdered gruesomely, Sugarman. And Bishop was like, "Oh man, you're basically," he's like, "You're a piece of shit, but you didn't deserve this,"
Right. Have you read Children of Tomorrow or whatever it's called?
You mean Children of the Vault?
Children of the Vault, yeah.
Yes, I was just saying I want a movie of that so fucking bad.
Oh god, that'd be so cool.
Fucking Cable and Bishop, just big guns and fucking. Did you finish the series?
Yes, I did.
So good.
It's so fucking good.
Like, and if you remember, I don't know if you read any of the stuff back in during the decimation times.
They did not know Bishop is hunting him and Hope
throughout time.
Throughout time. Yeah.
As
so those two do not like each other.
Well, I think they do now. I think there's a respect now.
There's a respect now.
Yeah, like it was. I mean, they made a couple of references to how back then, like Bishop basically turned a whole population into zombies or some shit to try to kill them, and just like all this crazy shit that they did throughout the future. Like they wasted so many futures.
Yeah, so many bad timelines because Bishop was sick of Cable and wanted to kill Hope because of his own like past future trauma.
He was convinced that she was going to be the one that caused everything or whatever, and it's like of course now he's got egg on his face, or he did.
He does.
Like, oh, she was actually the one that made it possible for resurrection. Shit.
Oh boy, do I feel stupid. I do like at the beginning of the Fall of X era that like every book takes time for everyone to go back to the X Mansion and like pick up what they hid there. It's just like,
I know that Wolverine did. I think that was during the Weapons of Vengeance.
I think so too. I'm still reading those. And then Bishop goes back to the mansion to pick up what ended up being the nuclear bomb he uses to kill a bunch of them.
Yeah, good times. Good times. Them arguing about guns was so funny.
It was so funny.
See, the thing is about like I want a movie of that, but it would kind of only work the same if there was the same backstory between them.
Yeah.
So maybe you could find some way to shorthand that in a movie to give them a problematic history together or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, it would be hard. Yeah, it'd be really cool, but hard to do.
Yeah. Who is Necra? I don't know
who that is actually.
Not sure who that is. Anyway, yeah, Sugarman does kind of look like if somebody took SpongeBob and made him a human.
Yeah.
Here, let me look up Sugarman so you guys know how just gross. I mean, not to be like anti-mutant or anything, because I think that's what he is, but
I mean, mutants can still look gross.
Oh, this is a good picture of him here too. Oh, he's a little monster, this fucker. Apparently they have some action figures of him too, and yeah. Let me see.
They have Sugarman action figures. They do give everyone an action figure eventually, so
trying to find the best picture that's like actually high resolution here.
That's always the hard part.
I guess this will do. Anyway,
yeah, I'm behind on Immortal X-Men. Someone mentioned Sinister in chat, and I'm like, what is going on with him and Xavier right now? But I think I'm behind. That is a face only a mother could love.
I challenge that. I don't know. I don't know if that's really true.
His mother and I don't even love him. But he is all face.
Yeah, all face, and then like little, muscular little forearms, little gremlin looking fucker. Like, yeah, but he did all kinds of like messed up experiments. He basically ran the farms, I think, kind of thing. I don't remember what they called it, but like where they just kept all of the
breeding pens or whatever.
The breeding pens, that's what it was. Yeah. So it was the humans is actually what it was in the Age of Apocalypse, right? That he was watched over.
Gods, I forget
I
which
think
is
so.
which.
He
It might be the humans.
Tortured them and did all kinds of messed up shit. And fuck him.
AI when it's told to drop. Lucifer, you are awarded 1 point. Spend it wisely.
Good times. So yeah. Oh, if Necro was a villain in specifically to Exiles, I never did read a whole lot of Exiles. What I did read was cool, but like.
Yeah, I've read some of it, but not as much as I would have liked. I have Marvel Unlimited. I could just sit down and hammer it out one week, but that would involve me having that thought.
Now to think about it, the Exiles would be an excellent choice for the MCU.
It would be, yeah.
Like you could do so much shit with that and just make it just a lot of fan service, but also do some really cool redemption stuff or whatever.
It would be cool, like because they've been doing more multiverse stuff. That would be a cool way to, like, if they wanted to touch on like a Foxman character or something, like you could use the Exiles to do that.
I think Deadpool is going to be touching on some Foxman characters.
A little more than touching.
We shall see. Hey, give me 1 second if you want to talk to chat and stuff. I got to pick up something that fell. I'm not sure where it fell.
Yeah, I don't know where you guys have been on the Krakoan era so far in this conversation because I just got here. Hi, everybody. The Hasselhoff Fury movie. Oh my god. I feel like there was a period, like maybe this is some sort of like fugue state, but I just remember that being on Sci-Fi Channel all the goddamn time. And I think I only ever caught parts of it because it was like never when I was going to watch TV, and I've never been a big TV watcher to begin with. So yeah, I just like, what is this thing? And that was before there was, and I think it's like I was like when the X-Men movies were out, was it on Sci-Fi Channel? Oh, Deadpool 3 hype. Are we gonna get Deadpool 3 hype up in here? Because fuck yeah. Please and thank you. Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty good. I think it has to be good if they got Hugh Jackman back, if Ryan Reynolds was able to cajole him into that. Like, I feel like they've got to have something good cooking. This like rumors of like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, that'll be interesting if they go that direction. I don't know that they will. How is my unlimited subscription does not get as much use as I would like. But I still like having it, and like I'll go for a couple of weeks not reading anything and then just go ham in like 2-3 weeks in a row, just like every lunch break, every morning before work, just like hammer out a couple of issues of something. It just sort of comes and goes. Oh, PR Deadpool in the house.
Someone did say Deadpool. That was me.
Yeah. That's the secret word.
Let's see. I did want to just show off these few pages because, like, man, it was exciting. I sent them to you because I was so hyped after reading them. In Uncanny Avengers.
Oh yeah, Uncanny Avengers. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
So, and so I think it was Jack. Jack showed up, and his first comment in chat, not to like put you on blast, Jack, but like he was like, Jerry Duggan sank the whole Krakoan era. And I was like, what? It's like the opposite of what happened. I mean, I feel like he carried on from Hickman and stuff pretty well, like him and Ewing. And
I think it's one of those things that, like, it's hard because Hickman had a plan and that's not what we're getting, right? Is because editorial wanted to do something different.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
That is what I have heard. I cannot verify it.
I thought that Hickman's thing was just to set a new status quo in motion and then
let someone else take it.
Yeah, I don't think he ever planned to just kind of like be, just guide it forever or whatever. But like maybe
I don't know. That's what I had heard. I am happy to be wrong. I think the thing with comics to remember is that it is always going to be someone's job to end a new status quo, because that's how cape books are. This party was always going to end, and it is a beautiful, wonderful party. And I actually think that once it's done, being done will make it better.
Yes.
In a way, because then you can read it start to finish.
Yes. And that's why, like, in the way, I call this pre-post-Krakoan blues, and it's like, it's true. I am starting to feel like, man, it's fucking ending, and and like Jack was saying, there's going to be somewhat of a return, it seems like, maybe to the status quo to a degree. And it's like, I hope it's not completely that. I hope that there's some, really, I don't know what elements I would want to have, carry over, but I want some, but matter of fact, the thing that the first thing to get me kind of excited, kind of console me a little bit about the post-Krakoan era was whenever this came out the other day. And this is one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today. Because
I'm just going to stop and drool for a while. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Yeah. Gail Simone and David Marquez, which is another name that's like, holy shit, really? Are the creators on the X-Men comic for Free Comic Book Day. So that's just one issue, but it will tease the X-Men books for 2024. She hasn't been announced as being, the creative leader or even a writer for what's coming next. But yeah,
even if it's just her setting the table, swoon.
It's like all those years of like making Cyclops jokes on Twitter fucking paid off, I guess. I don't know. Like,
we're gonna return to have Cyclops as the villain, like after AVX.
Yeah, look, Cyclops is having some tough times right now in the comics. He's not doing well. He is like
he's in a bad way.
He's got his eyes sewn shut. That sucks. He's been held captive by Orcus, and then he's about to go on trial for his life, apparently.
Yep. Well, because they framed Captain Krakoa for a bunch of naughty stuff.
Right, which leads us. Thank you for setting me up.
Happy to help.
They framed Captain Krakoa because Sinister, or Dr. Stasis rather, had managed to find some person to be the new quote-unquote Captain Krakoa, which everybody knows he was revealed to be Cyclops a while back. And the reason Cyclops was Captain Krakoa was because when they were still trying to keep the secret of resurrection and Cyclops publicly died,
I loved that story. And I loved how, like, the whole premise of the story is that the audience is in on it.
Yes.
Like, they don't try to hide the fact that Captain Krakoa is just Cyclops. It's the drama of him pretending to be dead and be this other person.
And it so much reminded me of what was his name? I always forget. Gohan's superhero character in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh God, Saiyaman?
Saiyaman, I think it was Saiyaman, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. Like he's I don't know. I just got that vibe from it, but I love it.
The costume kind of like has the same sort of vibe to it, minus the cape. So I see it and I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the visor, and then also kind of like just the fact that he's a known character that's going to pretend to be this new superhero in order to hide his identity. That was fun.
Yeah.
So we'll finish this looking at this first, and then we'll move on to who Captain Krakoa turned out to be. No, don't spoil it, anybody. Marvel Comics released information about their upcoming Free Comic Book Day titles. 4 books for the Avengers Blade event, Blood Hunt. That's kind of exciting.
That's
could
cool.
go either way.
A nice Blade event. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably expected to be able to have more about the Blade movie done by now. But
I think so. Yeah.
Things have kind of gone wrong with that a few times, I think. So you got a new Marvel Voices, Star Wars, Spider-Man, and then another one of the things that I wanted to talk about, Ultimate Universe stuff and X-Men. Blood Hunt X-Men book promises exciting lead-ins to Marvel's next crossover event, Blood Hunt, the X-Men's post-Krakoa era, saying readers can first witness the overture to this summer's major crossover starting the Avengers, Blood Hunt, then get a glimpse of the future of mutant kind as Jubilee. So taking it back to the 90s kind of. Learns that you cannot go home again. So maybe that means they won't be going back to the mansion.
Maybe
You know?
not. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a literal thing, but credited to writers Jed McKay, who's fucking awesome. I just finished reading his Moon Knight run not long ago. Gail Simone, who's Gail Simone, and then
Gail Simone
and Sarah Pichelli and David Marquez. Like, holy shit, that's fucking stacked.
That's a lineup. I am notoriously bad about going to Free Comic Book Day and buying a bunch of stuff at the comic store the last few years, but I feel like for this one, I'm gonna have to like get up early and like make sure I get all this shit because fuck, it is stacked.
Super duper stacked. It's incredible. And yeah, I hear you, man. Like, I feel like Gail can't just set Deadpool to the side if she's working on. I don't
think she can. Yeah.
I remember back in the day, and of course I had no idea who Gail Simone was. Wasn't really paying much attention to creators back then. When I was younger, I was just like, this comic looks cool, or whatever. No, she's not a vampire. She's a
mutant again. Yeah, she's alive.
She's been resurrected as a mutant. She has a mother though. So
she's an adopted child.
Who
is occasionally a dragon.
Sometimes Shogo's a dragon. That's Anyway,
but Captain Britain is so fucking wild.
So yeah, I remember whenever I had just kind of learned about Deadpool to a degree and was like, oh, the Deadpool character's cool. I'm going to go buy a Deadpool comic. And I saw that, I think I went to the comic store and they were like, oh, Deadpool's comic ended, but there's this new character, a new comic called Agent X. And it kind of seems like it's Deadpool. Maybe he's got like fake memories or something like that. Or he's got amnesia, but it's probably Deadpool. And I think she actually did plan for it to be revealed as Deadpool.
I think so too.
But then editorial happened and it didn't go that way. And they ended up eventually making Agent X big, morbidly obese guy.
In Cable and Deadpool, where Deadpool's taking jobs for Agent X because he's too fat to like do them.
Yeah.
That's when they introduced Bob, Agent of Hydra.
Yeah. No. Pink's Bunny Jubes is not a vampire anymore. Not at all.
Nope. She's all person-y again.
Because of Resurrection, any kind of like unfortunate, conditions like that, they were able to just kind of get rid of that. Though I don't know, did she die first?
Well, unless they did, I forget. Though like with it mattered recently that with Cable, it's like no, I want you to bring me back with this specific problem. I'm a cooking.
Yes, that was so cool.
It's like, oh, why did Cable come back from the dead with the cybernetics? Oh, that's why.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
They actually wrote into the story why he'd been killed recently in the comics, and like, why would he come back with his cybernetic arm? Why wouldn't they get rid of the transmode virus? That's crazy.
Because homie is cooking.
He used it to essentially defeat the children of tomorrow. Those children.
Those naughty children. He put them in their place.
They made quite a lot of headway, and then they got fucked. Because you don't want to mess with these two time traveling, gun wielding guys that like are at their best when they're desperate,
Right. And they're always ready to be desperate. They're looking for an excuse.
Yeah. Anyway, so that means Gail Simone and David Marquez will be on the X-Men half of the comic. Suggests that with Tom Brevoort taking over X-Men editorially as the Krakoan age comes to an end after 5 years, Gail Simone may be the writer of X-Men going forward. How long before? Yeah, I didn't even read this, but I made a joke about it. I was like, there better be some jokes about Cyclops' optic glass. I'm clearly not the only one. Obviously. Yeah, it's heat vision.
It's heat vision. Yeah. Everyone knows that.
When really the joke about that is, people have argued with her, like, do you not realize the joke of this is that if you read X-Men comics over the decades, his blasts have been depicted doing different shit.
Right. That's very inconsistent.
I just have been reading, it's kind of a dumb, fun event, but Black Vortex from several years ago.
Oh, sure.
When this is involving the younger X-Men original who had been brought to the present by Beast. And Cyclops, after going off to spend some time with his daddy, on the Starjammer and stuff, he trained. He did some training, and they're literally locked up during the Black Vortex event thing, and they're locked up in a cell, and he fucking there's a power dampener on, so it's not completely remove their powers. Like Iceman can just barely freeze a bar on the cell, right?
Sure.
And then Cyclops can just barely shoot a little tiny little, like nothing, not enough to even do any damage. But what he does is he uses it to somehow like make the fingerprint register thing unlock. Like there's like a fingerprint scanner, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? How did he whatever. So yeah, Cyclops' stuff is inconsistent. But this looks cool. I like this. That looks like some fun stuff happening there. Just good times killing vampires, I suppose.
Who doesn't love killing vampires?
Vampires have been getting a little uppity with their own little what's it called? The place that they were living shit. Well, what's it called? The place where no humans can live, the living humans. Since the reactor meltdown.
Oh, gods. Chernobyl,
yes. That's where they've been hanging out.
So radioactive vampires.
Maybe.
The last time I really dug the vampires in Marvel was in Captain Britain and MI13. Where the vampires try to invade England. And Pete Wisdom defeats them by summoning an old god. And it's just, the whole book is bananas.
Let's see. Just get Blade. Well, I mean, that's
what they do. Yeah,
that's part of the thing. But I think the thing is there's so many of them that it's more than Blade can handle on his own.
Like that when Jubilee was a vampire, you had Blade in as a main character in the X-Men book.
Damn. I didn't know. I never saw when that happened. I didn't even know. But
I caught part of that. There's an issue I stopped reading, and that's the one where oh no, Wolverine's a secret vampire, and I mean, I'm like, that problem's gonna go away next issue, and then the first or second page of the next issue, the problem is solved. I'm like, okay, I think I'm done here.
Oh shit, man! I just looked at the time. So, do we want to talk about comics more, or do we just want to go ahead and go over to the Fapcast in a minute?
It is. I will leave that up to you.
Let me see. I'm gonna push it back about 15 minutes just to give us a little extra time.
Okie dokie.
So we'll be here talking comics for another couple of minutes, and then yeah. So yeah. By the way, if you weren't aware, there is this is Sunday. This is when we do the Forced Diversity podcast. And it is scheduled now for 5:15 Pacific Standard Time. So once this is over, you'll have to go to that stream and click on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have a good time talking about. We're gonna blow your mind, folks.
We're gonna blow your mind. It is a mind-blowing episode.
That joke never gets old.
It does not get old. It's gonna be heavy, so don't lose your head.
That's no way to get ahead in life.
And just make sure when we're done, you don't leave anything at the book depository. Police your brass.
Okay,
before
so now we're gonna look at
you.
We're gonna look at some awesome shit right here because holy shit. All right, so this is first look. Follow the House of X, Rise of Powers of 10. I assume. So if anybody not aware, this is Follow the House X. Pretty obvious what that is, but then it's almost like a bookend that's kind of the inverse of House of X, Powers of 10. So if you read that, the Powers of 10 it showed us 10 years, 100 years, and 1,000 years into the future for the X-Men.
So they're doing it like they did with Sins of Sinister.
What this is this is just the 10 years in the future is all this is. So we're going to see in 10 years in the future, we're going to have the X-Men then are going to be, it's going to be Wolverine. I'll look it up and find it. But I mean, the main thing I'm trying to get to is that Iron Man is one of them.
Nice. Which tracks because he is what's going on in Iron Man. That makes sense that he'd still be around.
True. Just, he's not a mutant. But
no,
whatever.
But I mean, neither is Deadpool, and he's been on, X teams before. So
true.
And also, it's like, in Krakoa, they let the spouses tag along even if they're human.
Yeah, I guess maybe him and Emma actually found something they liked about each other. Who knows?
Dunking on assholes.
because yeah, that's true. But
they work together so well. What's the only problem I have with Uncanny Avengers is that the best Deadpool moment for me in this era of X-Men is in Iron Man. Have you been reading Iron Man?
No, I haven't been up on that. What happened?
So Tony goes to like knock over this research facility. And like someone's gonna meet him and pick up the stuff he's stealing.
Oh no, I did read that one actually because Deadpool
it's Deadpool in the trucker's hat with the mustache, but it's just a mustache on Deadpool's mask, and I'm like, I love this so much.
He's had he had some good moments. Like he actually told the X-Men that
I love that scene too.
In Avengers, Uncanny Avengers
Uncanny Avengers, yeah.
Because they were like, we got to fire this human Captain America guy. He, like us, he can't be our leader. And Deadpool's like, man,
hell he can't.
Well, he says basically this is kind of how I feel about like some of the left on, you know what I mean? Like that, like man, you don't let the perfect is the enemy of the good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like basically, he's a guy that a lot of people respect, and you're just talking about throwing that away when you need it most. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, it's just like you're gonna sideline Captain America. Like, you guys are really good at losing. What about this guy? What's he do? Oh, he just fucking wins. It's nothing but homers.
Yep. X-Men love losing. Yes, I did just push the stream back and to the left. Fuck yes, Archmage. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Good joke. Good joke. True. Have you read any of Dark X-Men? Has been pretty fun.
I've read some of it. I'm behind on it because it's fine. It's fun, but it's fine. I like the character dynamics a little bit, but it's kind of hard to follow. But
yeah, I mean, there's been a lot going on. I mean, but if you want to see, so the thing that I've enjoyed about it is I've never read a lot with Madeline Pryor in it. Like when I came along into X-Men comics,
she was dead.
That was over with.
Yeah.
And my brother explained it to me, and I remember it being confusing that like, wait, she was a clone, but then Jean's body, because they retconned it several times.
Yeah.
So, but a good appearance of her.
Yeah, she's really cool in it.
Well, yeah, that, but like the better appearance was in Jean Grey's book, which has been written by Louise Simonson.
The Jean Grey book is fucking killer.
It's excellent. It's excellent.
It really is.
It's just gone through her history, and she's like trying to figure out where everything went wrong. She's basically in between life and death kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Her mind is just doing psychic shit basically as she's dying, I think. And yeah, it's been her kind of wrestling with the retcons and the rocky pasts and the deaths and the rebirths and the murderings of the trillions and all that stuff.
And like, can I change time? Oh, I'm just gonna fuck it up more.
It kind of absolved her of the Phoenix murders. In a way. It's just like that wasn't really her,
Right. I think if you're gonna read one of the X-Men books right now, is X-Men Red is fucking bananas.
Loved it. Been loving it. Freaking loved. Storm is the boss. That's why I talked about that right at the beginning, because they were talking about, somebody said that Comic Storian was reading some X-Men books and said he didn't know who half of these characters were. And I'm like, how do you? And I was like, oh, he's probably reading X-Men Red.
Yes, that's the one. Because who are these people? Well, they're basically in X of Swords and then this. In the next
there's just every issue almost. There's like new ones just popping
new people,
up. And the
they're
book,
cool.
They're fun, for a moment here and there and stuff. They don't expect you to know much about them or anything. It's just like, oh, here's another color to add to this story.
It's and just how like esoteric they get with the powers. Like, oh, this person can't lose, but like you can judo that on them, so like you can make them win, but in a way they don't want.
Yeah. I don't know if you read the newest issue, but
yes.
I kind of thought she was gonna. I was actually thinking she was gonna choose the nuclear option.
The nuclear option, and she's laying in a box like, "Nah, we don't. We're gonna do it this way." And just like, oh fuck.
I'm gonna fucking animate an island to
I'm
fight
gonna
for me.
make my own continent, my own living continent, and I'm
The
gonna
look-
have Storm pilot it like a fucking Gundam.
The look on what, Genesis, is that what she's going by? I
Yeah,
forget.
Genesis's face is just like
Didn't see this coming.
Also,
yeah.
like this era has done so much for the character of Apocalypse.
So many characters have benefited. Like really, so many are coming out of this on top of just like
just aces.
But yeah, Apocalypse for sure has been like he's never been more than almost like a maybe 1 or 2 note villain for the longest time.
Yeah.
And now he is much more than that.
He is so much more than that. He's so fucking cool.
So yeah, here we got some art that looks awesome. Cyclops, not
a classic costume too.
Yeah, he's missing something though. You know, the ruby part.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And this is that's pretty heavy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, man, that art is cool.
That art is so cool.
So they have taken the entirety of all hatred for mutants and they're just fucking putting it on this guy.
Yep.
You know, and I think this is somewhat, assuming he makes it out of this alive. I feel like he was kind of redeemed already personally from
I do too.
Like if you read the Rosenberg stuff right before the kind of relaunch with House of X, there was some really good Cyclops stuff in there, and he was awesome. But this will definitely, I think, kind of like fully absolve him, I think.
Yeah.
Taking one for the team here. And then there's this shit. Holy shit, look at that fastball special.
There we go.
You know, the X-Men may be having a bad time overall, but at least Wolverine's enjoying himself. You know?
he's having just the big idiot smile on his face. I fucking love it. Wee!
This guy, he's not having a good time.
Oh, no. Well, when you're Charles Xavier, you're not allowed to have good times. Life is suffering when you're Chuck.
How do we feel about Charles Xavier now? Because I know that like general perception of him had shifted, you know, mostly justifiably to wow, this guy has always been a piece of shit. And he has definitely done some stuff that's not the most ethical things during this whole Krakoan thing, but I don't know.
Like, I guess my opinion on Charles Xavier is that like he's always kind of been a piece of shit, but in a way that like humanizes him, right? Like he's never a piece of shit for a reason you don't understand. Like you get where he's coming from. You see how he reaches that conclusion and how he has the power to do it. And at some point, like you're not always going to say no to that solution.
Yeah. Stuff like, you know, I know it was really right around the time of the decimation and then the Deadly Genesis storyline that was when it really turned for him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, you know, there's the decimation where he had already been losing a lot of respect. Cyclops had basically told him, fuck off, dude. Like,
right.
you raised me to be the leader. I'm doing it. Get out of here.
Get out.
And then, of course, the Deadly Genesis thing where you find out, oh, they were the second team he sent. Yikes.
Yep. Oopsie.
And of course, now you got a Vulcan is one of the horsemen for Apocalypse.
Yep.
And look, this is just, it does get me kind of excited. This is just kind of classic X-Men kind of shit going on right here. You got
some Rogue and Gambit, got the
kind of Blackbird.
Yeah.
You know, Wolverine.
It's like a Blackbird X-Wing. It's kind of rad.
And then, yeah, as you see, Kate's still wearing the ninja stuff.
Yeah.
Doing Shadowcat shit. She doesn't look like she's, you know, too happy with life, but she's still doing it.
I'm a little sad that Nightcrawler's in Spider-Man still.
Oh yeah,
he's back there.
Yeah, I didn't see that. True. Yeah, well, I mean, you know
great
what?
Gambit or it's a great Rogue design.
It truly is, and Gambit just classic look.
Classic
for
Gambit.
I guess don't mess with a classic. I don't know. It's
like that's her best costume, I would say.
For sure.
I love the scarf.
I did like I did like the hood and cloak kind of look that she had for a while too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was all right. It's pretty cool.
I really don't know how Xavier will bounce back from what I guess will be the last gala. Well, I mean, he didn't really do anything wrong though.
Yeah, it wasn't his like, and even like by the time of the last gala, like he's like, this is not what I want. Like he didn't want Krakoa. It was just that Moira was like, I'm gonna show you all of the bad ends, and you're gonna just have to accept that this is the closest thing to a good idea we have.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's still just gonna buy time. But he wasn't a fan of the mutant isolationism and the mutant supremacy that sort of came out of that environment.
But
so,
that was the kind of like, it was kind of like Magneto had to give in a little bit to Xavier's way, and Xavier had to give in a little bit,
right,
in order for that to work.
But the thing they did wrong was, and that she warned them not to, was to involve Sinister. It's just like, you can't trust that guy.
Yeah, I guess so. That was just because they wanted resurrection, right?
He had all of the, like, he had the database in place already to study mutants of their DNA structure. Like, it was a shortcut to get them the data. Like, they could have gotten it the hard way, but they took the easy way, and that doesn't help anything.
True.
It got us Rasputin 4, and she's pretty cool.
She is. She's been, having a good time. I think in the X-Men books.
Yeah.
Freaking Kamala seems to like her.
Yeah. And she fangirls over Kamala. I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like that's a twist.
Yeah.
Kind of trip for Kamala, I'm sure.
Right. That's just sort of the role reversal, because normally she is the fangirl.
I read a really kind of, I don't want to say it's dumb or bad because it's like their opinion, but apparently some people are really not happy with Kamala being a mutant. And it's like, what, you were happy with her being an Inhuman? I mean, and like they're complaining that like, because it's like, oh, synergy or whatever. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, but also better story, I think.
Yeah, like the thing with her being an Inhuman is it was always an editorial decision.
And not even a good one. It was actually a corporate decision.
It was a corporate decision, yeah. Because
Perlmutter.
Marvel Comics was told to minimize the X-Men because they didn't have the movie rights. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they tried to push Immortals and Inhumans, and they did that in S.H.I.E.L.D. and the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, and they did that with that terrible Inhumans live action show, and they did it in the comics, and it was a bad idea overall.
Yeah, and look, I will say this: it probably was for the best for her characterization, because if she would have just been immediately tossed into mutant world, it might have kind of hijacked what could have been, how she developed on her own, like kind of almost mostly isolation. She's going to school, she's doing regular kid shit, and
I think that was the upside of her being an Inhuman, is that because no one cares about the Inhumans, in a lot of ways she was the only one.
Yeah. Yep.
But at that point, she could have just had standalone powers she developed in a freak radioactive Stretch Armstrong accident or something.
It was so obvious to anybody that gives a shit that, like, no, you're not gonna pull this off, Marvel. Like, trying to make it, and then of course the ultimate like lazy bad attempt was like, well, the Terrigen Mists actually kill mutants. Fuck you,
it was so.
But yeah, it's what was I gonna say? I don't know.
It's that PR, and then she hangs out with Lockjaw for a while. The dog.
So here is powers of 10. You got Nimrod and Omega Sentinel.
Fucko 1 and Fucko 2.
Look at Sync. Oh no. That's definitely more than 10 years of age.
Yeah, guy has put on some miles, yeah.
He's been doing some long-range mutant ability absorbing.
So to answer Daniel's question, I don't think fans hate Inhumans like on principle. I think that there was an attempt was made to have them surpass mutants, And because it was a corporate decision, I think the only story they told that was like it made it any good was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show.
Yep. Yep.
And that was it. And like it in the comics, it was like it felt really heavy-handed, and
yep, it was. I mean, and also just
the stories were rote.
The Inhumans are not cool like that. Like,
no,
they've worked. I've liked them. I've never had a problem with them whenever they are part of some story and something is going on. And the Inhumans are involved. That's fine. Whatever. Black Bolt is cool in that way. But like, yeah. And another thing is the metaphor doesn't work.
No.
The same way with the Inhumans that it does with mutants who are born the way that they're born, and Inhumans, they got to get exposed to some shit. I mean, technically they're born that way too. I guess they have some recessive gene or whatever, but like, yeah,
it has to be activated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the problems with Inhumans isn't the Inhumans. It was corporate. Because even I think like back after Decimation, when there was the Quicksilver story, and Quicksilver was trying to use the Terrigen Mists, like he stole the crystals to get powers back, but then his powers came back wrong, and everyone he tried to use it on, their powers went bananas.
Yep.
Like that was an interesting story where he's sort of the villain protagonist, and they're the heroic antagonist trying to track him down. But like, yeah, and then it does tie into the Kree, and that's. I think there is just a general like divide between terrestrial Marvel superheroics and cosmic superheroics, and Inhumans kind of cross that line in funny ways because they're not quite cosmic characters, but like they also are.
I mean, I don't agree with that, Dimple. Like, I mean, because that wasn't the Black Bolt. So I mean, like, if you're going with that logic, then he must hate Mr. Fantastic and shit too. Like, that was just a Black Bolt.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Feige really wanted to like dick on Black Bolt. You know, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not a mind reader. I'm happy if that's true. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Captain Dad. That show disgraces him.
Captain Adventure Dad. Yep.
Captain Adventure Dad.
All right. Yeah, I mean that could be. I could see that working.
I think the question I would have is like, they made Black Bolt king of like emperor of the Kree for a while, like just sort of all over the place. Like, why aren't they the diplomats, defender of the solar system before now? Because like they live on the fucking moon. You know, why didn't we have that before now?
All right, so let's look at this this X-Men team we got here in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wolverine ain't going nowhere. He's just gonna.
No.
You can't kill that fucker. Can't keep him dead. Kamala looking pretty badass.
Kamala looking pretty gangster, yeah.
Just kind of a Captain Krakoa thing going on.
Yeah.
Some
kind of Iron person.
That's Iron Man.
That's just Iron Man. That's Tony. All right.
And it kind of looks like the same suit that he's been building, right? Like
yeah.
he's been trying to get going.
The Mysterium suit.
Mm-hmm. And then what the hell? Why is presumably that's Kate Pride, right? But what's going on with her?
I don't know, because it's like that costume, but she's huge. It has like the skin pallor and eyes of like Apocalypse. So I'm perplexed as to what's going on here.
It's gonna be something interesting, but nonetheless, this whole Powers of 10 thing, it reminds me of the very end of. Reminds me of the Rasputin 4. Oh,
that's a theory. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, interesting.
If you guys remember the end of New X-Men, Grant Morrison's run, they did kind of 100 years, 150 years in the future.
Sure.
That was so after they completed the whole Magneto's on kick and gone crazy.
Oh God. That's when I stopped.
Well, there was a couple issues after that, I think. Before they actually quit their run, and it was just a fun thing where it's like, let's go forward 150 years and see what things might look like. Well, Wolverine was there for sure, of course, but then it was like Beast had become a villain. It wasn't his fault. He was kind of taken over by the. It's a whole other topic. But before, let's see, when is this fucking stream supposed to start? 4.5 minutes. So before that is, I want to look at just this reveal because holy shit, I loved it.
Because I haven't seen any of these reveals yet, so I'm.
Oh, I was going to look at the reveal of Uncanny Avengers number 4.
Oh, that one. Yes, I have seen that one because that is. It's a cool. The panels are amazing.
So yeah, this is like the panel layout and everything is I was watching an action movie. It was awesome. So in this, you've got this quote unquote Captain Krakoa, who is not really Cyclops, but people think he is, and they started the whole Orcus attack with him and the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, doing some Washington bombing or something like that. I think they attacked the president or something. I don't know,
something like that.
Not good stuff. Framing mutants for shit, framing Cyclops. But he's not Cyclops, and he he's been showing some kind of interesting abilities and whatnot. And I started theorizing. A few people started theorizing. I think people that are kind of up on the things started going, okay, is it really? And well, let's see.
Well, okay, but spoilers for Uncanny Avengers. Turn your eyes.
Yeah, if you don't want to know who Captain Krakoa is,
we'll see you in 4 minutes on the Fabcast.
He's so right before this, I should have had the other page too, but like he's about to kill Ben Urich, and Captain America fucking just has Monet like throw him over the Hudson River basically, so that he can just like silently come through the window and hit his ass. And he's like, the first thing he says is like, I know you can hear me even without that super suit, so I had her throw me from across the river or some shit like that.
Right.
And it's like, oh, so because he says right before that he knows who he thinks he knows who it is. Captain America. And and then this starts to kind of give the game away right here with him throwing that shield, catching it, and then throwing it and hitting everybody.
Yep.
Except Cap. Oh, not that. And Deadpool's still standing. He says, damn it. And he says, before the world can heal, the rot must be cut out, and then our wounds cauterized by fire. Very fashy shit, man.
Yeah, that's some fashy shit.
And then Wade here, he's like, please tell me this isn't him. What? And then he says, hello again, Wade. Thought you were a soldier with a decent head on your shoulders. There you are following Rogers again. Well, who the fuck is it? Well, first we gotta see Deadpool.
Gotta get Deadpool. I just love how he crosses his arms and just accepts that he's gonna slide over. I fucking love that.
He's like, I'm just gonna take me a minute. I'll be back, but it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
His guts just sitting on Cap's shield. And then
Deadpool moment.
And this is Jerry Duggan. He knows how to write some Deadpool. That's
yeah,
great.
he does.
He's. Throughout this thing, there's been a couple of references to, Captain America asking him to be a part of this team in the first place was partly to kind of help, redeem him in his own mind because he worked during the Secret Empire event. Deadpool was tricked, because it was Captain America, and he was, doing Hydra shit for Hydra. A few people kind of fell under that, unfortunately, because you had a guy that was just Steve Rogers. He's right there. He's Captain America, and he's doing all the Cap shit stuff. So why? Okay, maybe he's doing it. Maybe he's doing it under Hydra, but okay. Well, that's because it is actually Steve Rogers.
Steve-O
in the house. Fucking
with that fashy fucking haircut.
Yeah. I think it's actually the same as other Steve, but it just looks fashy on him.
It just looks it's just innately fashy on him.
So Cap
broke his arm.
Actually, Steve broke his arm.
Yeah, Steve broke his arm.
That was the first hint that something was going on. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, because who could break Captain America's arm?
Well, the suit does give strength, but
that
like
super strength. But like that's strength.
Who can fight Captain America to the point where they can get a hold of his arm and break it? That was the question. And it's Captain America. That's why. Well, not really. Yeah. He's not Captain America. He's fucking Captain Fascist.
Yeah.
And he's got a nuke, and he's gonna,
do some bad guy stuff.
Do some stuff. So we're gonna end this now. Talk about comics a bit. I did want to talk about the Ultimate Universe stuff. We can do that. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, you know what? We're not doing an initiative stream this week. So maybe on Wednesday, I'll go live and talk about some comics a bit. Because yeah, it's Thanksgiving week. Bob's got some stuff going on, and we figure, let's just take the week off.
There you go. Yeah, take some time off, boys.
Yeah. So Steve will just so excited to see him back and being a bad guy, doing bad guy shit, and yeah, we'll have fun, right?
It's true.
True. Deadpool 3E, who is new here, I think.
Hello, Deadpool 3E. Welcome. We have 2 Deadpools in the chat.
So yeah,
we can form our own Deadpool Corps.
You told me this prediction the other day, and I kind of think you might be right. There's been some hints that this could be where they're going with it.
Yeah.
Like, because there was a moment early in this issue where he was kind of quoting Captain America, asking him to join the team, and he was like, "Oh, join this team. There's always something that you're uniquely suited for. We just have to find that thing."
Right.
And it could be that. He could do that.
It could be.
All right, folks. I hope you're going to join us for the Fapcast. It's going to be, probably a couple of minutes in between this and that as we get set up and everything. But
transition over.
It is the 60th anniversary in a couple of days of the assassination of one John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Some say, it's the death of a president, but also the death of maybe political optimism.
Maybe.
Yeah, because things just kind of went downhill from there. I'll say that. But yeah, hope you'll join us. There's some other stuff too. It's not just about the death. I honestly don't know exactly where we're going with it. This is Morgan's thing, but I do have an exciting, fucking spicy, controversial thing to announce for next week's Fapcast that Morgan doesn't even know about.
I don't. Les shock, les gasp. You'll just have to tune in and find out.
I'm going to give you the opt out of this one. I'll say that.
Because
there could be backlash. So.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, see you soon, folks, and like and subscribe, and like and subscribe to yourselves.
Yes.
Let me find what I was looking for because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Here we go. I'm going to play this on the way out. See you in a few minutes, folks.
Yep, we'll see you over there.
Sometimes when I wipe, I'll wipe and I'll wipe and I'll wipe and I'll wipe 100 times. Still poop. Still poop. It's like I'm wiping a marker or something.
Shit my pants on camera. I have hot snakes, you guys. When the diarrhea comes out like a hot snake. I get hot snakes in bubble gut.
You know what's crazy is I definitely poop. I just poop my pants.
I used to